So after his comments about wanting to ban all Muslims on a temporary basis from coming to the United States, Donald Trump made the rounds on different media outlets, this time going on CNN to basically argue with Chris Cuomo. Watch.
Your proposition is plain: ban all Muslims until we can figure out what's going on. People are asking you how you would do that. I say let's put that to the side. It's irrelevant. It's about the concept. You have leaders from your own party in the key states of Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. You have galvanized political rivals all saying this is un-American and extreme and that it makes you a fascist. How do you respond?
Well, I totally disagree. You take a look, Chris, at what's going on, and it is disgraceful. First of all, people quickly forget World Trade Center 1, World Trade Center number 2, and you take a look at all of the things that are happening, having to do with the problems. Now you have the problem in California and miraculously $28,000 just found in this guy's, just put into this guy's account, this horrible person, this killer, this maniac, into his account. I have no doubt that we have no choice but to do exactly what I said until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Trump says, we got to figure out what's going on. Well, that's why I want to ban an entire religion. Because, we don't actually know what's going on. Now, on that point, Chris Cuomo, who actually knows a bit more about what's going on than Donald Trump, obviously, now he's going to school Trump on what it is to actually be an American.
I would say it is the opposite reality. You see the French being more embracing of people around them. You see them living their lives. You see them refusing to accept fear as a basis for behavior. Whereas here, what you're doing in the country that is known as a symbol of freedom is saying we're too afraid to be inclusive. We're going to reject the promise of America and ban an entire religion, even though we need to do things on a case-by-case basis. And it seems as though you're acting out of fear, not making us look strong, and rejecting what America is all about. UK's not doing this. France isn't doing this.
Chris, and don't tell me about Paris. Paris is under tremendous siege. They are absolutely in fear in Paris. Don't tell me Paris is not.
They have heightened awareness. They do not have fear, and they're not acting out of it. That's why they're letting in refugees.
They don't have fear. Of course they have fear. Of course
it's how you behave in that environment. I have people that are friends living in Paris.
They want to leave. They're petrified.
But what are they doing? Are they banning all Muslims?
Well, let's see. Maybe they're going to have to. Maybe they're going to have to do something.
That's not even on the table.
Look, I'm talking about a temporary situation until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on, Chris.
The timing is irrelevant.
Listen, we had the World Trade Center number 1. We had World Trade Center number 2. We had many other things happen. Then the other day we had the California attack where these two animals, they're total animals, they became radicalized, and they wanted to do far more damage than that.
So 9/11. Also France. Really? Interesting how he brings up those. Now, Donald Trump is so dumb that he doesn't actually realize that according to our own statistics, right? Because he's talking about 9/11s. It's going to happen. And World Trade Center is going to happen again. There's going to be far more World Trade Centers. And by the way, Paris. That could happen here too. Well, he ignores our own statistics that say that actually you're more than 7 times likely to be killed by a right-wing extremist than a Muslim terrorist. Now, if you follow Trump's logic to the end, if there is any, but if you follow it, well, shouldn't we be banning Republicans from entering the United States? That's insane! That's just as insane as saying we should ban all Muslims, an entire religion. That's insanity. That's batshit crazy. But that's Donald Trump for you. Going batshit crazy. Trump's plan is ban everyone. Remember, American citizens who are Muslim, banned. Military members. There are Muslims serving in our military force that are fighting ISIS. Ban them. They can't come home. They're American citizens. They're Muslims and they're serving our country. And you're saying they can't come home because they're Muslim. That's ridiculous. Imagine, instead of saying Muslims, it's right-wingers. We can't let the right-wingers in here because they're very, very likely to launch an attack against other Americans, a terrorist attack. Heads would explode. Heads would absolutely explode. And that's why it's wrong. In both cases, it's wrong. We shouldn't be doing this, banning people from coming in the country because of association to a certain religion or any religion. And I can understand that if you do a check and something comes up suspicious that might link you to a possible terrorist organization, then great, keep them out. But this is just saying, oh, you belong to a certain religion? Oh, you're a Muslim. We should ban you because I heard that old Muslims were terrorists. At least until we figure out what's going on. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Yeah. It's the same as saying, oh, Christians. Well, you know, there was an attack on a Planned Parenthood just recently by a Christian. That means we're going to have to ban all Christians from coming into America. And we're going to have to watch all the churches. Do you know how insane that is? That's absolutely insane. It's ridiculous and it's stupid. Now, I've got some more from this nut job. Let's take a listen.
What's even more disturbing, if you terms of looking into the future, is other people knew what they were doing. There were bombs, pipe bombs laying all over the floor.
Right.
They had other people that knew what was going on, Chris, and nobody reported it. They used the excuse they didn't want to be racial profilers. They wanted to be politically correct. By the way, the people that said that, I think in their own way, they're guilty. The mother knew. The parents knew. Everybody knew. Now even his father is under watch.
Well,
they just found out.
You use politically correct.
Chris,
this isn't about being politically correct.
We can be politically correct. But
this
we
isn't
have a
about being
problem in
politically
this
correct.
country, and we should solve it, because you're going to have many more World Trade Centers if you don't solve it. Many, many more, and probably beyond the World Trade Center.
Once again, you're going to have so many more World Trade Centers if you don't do this. And we're not doing this because, well, it's because we're trying to be politically correct. Oh, you want to be politically correct. Now remember, this is coming from the guy who wouldn't say that the interning the Japanese during World War II was wrong. He also defended a plan by Eisenhower dubbed Operation Wetback. No. Chris Cuomo is absolutely right. This is not about political correctness. This is about broad brushing entire groups of people because of racist stereotypes. Think about it this way. This is me saying all Southerners are racist redneck hillbillies. That's not true. I could say it, but it's not true. It's not being factual. Obviously, everybody in the South is not a redneck racist hillbilly. That's stupid. That's stupid. Well, how about saying how, look, okay, before I go into the next example, once again, somebody pointing out how I would be wrong. I can't just say, no, you're being politically correct. How dare you be politically correct? When obviously, the few Southern guys that I met were obviously racist and rednecks. And had spittoons and everything. No. Pointing that out, how I'm absolutely factually wrong, is not being politically correct. It's being factual. And here's the thing. You can't just go and say, as well, all black people like fried chicken and watermelon. That's also not true. I mean, fried chicken and watermelon is awesome. But not every black person likes it because they're black. That's a racist stereotype. Pointing out how it's a racist stereotype isn't being politically correct. It's being factual. Everybody's different. It's amazing. It's amazing. Or how about how Mexicans are lazy? Well, obviously, no. That's another racist stereotype. That's also factually incorrect. And it's the same thing as saying all Muslims are terrorists. They're obviously not. That's not correct. All Muslims are not terrorists. And when you point that out, you're not being politically correct. You're being factual. You're just being plain old correct. But as I said, Trump doesn't agree. But see, here's the thing, too. He thinks that all Muslims are terrorists. But you can't say that and be correct. You say that, you have to point out how, yes, it's true. Not all Muslims are terrorists. It's not because, well, gee golly, I don't want to offend the Muslims. No, I don't care if you're offended. I just care about the facts. And the facts are that not all Muslims are terrorists. If they were, and there are 1.6 billion Muslims in this world, we'd have a real problem on our hands. So no, they're not all terrorists. He's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong. And he doesn't care about the facts. I do. Trump does not. And by the way, Trump, you want a fact? Here's a fact for you. You're more likely to be killed in America by a responsible gun-owning American or a cop than you are an Islamic terrorist. There's numbers out there. Look them up. Those are facts. Now, finally, I want to end by saying that nobody here is ignoring Islamic Jihad or the threat of ISIS. Those things happen. And it would be absolutely stupid and irresponsible to ignore the threats that those, that Islamic terrorism or any sort of terrorism have. They're threats. Yes, and we respond to them accordingly. But here's the thing. Don't use that threat of a few boogeymen to shut out everyone. To shut out an entire religion because you're scared. Ooh, scary Muslim. To do that is not only factually incorrect, but it's also ridiculous and plain old wrong.